Jordan,
Yo,
hey.
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm like having all kinds of technical difficulties with this phone.
I saw you drop the phone.
I had to MacGyver to like place it somewhere. I ordered like a stand and all of that stuff. But Amazon taking mad long right now to ship things. So I have to like put this on top of like a book and try to get it positioned properly.
I feel you. Now you got it good though.
All right. What's going on with you and your little pink mood light in the background though?
Yo, this is my daytime vibe. You know what I mean? I got when we in quarantine, I gotta do everything I can to try and stay inspired. So, you know what I mean? We put this light right here. This like rose. You know what I mean?
I'm feeling it though.
Yeah, yeah. So then after about 10 o'clock, I go to the blue. That's my favorite color.
Ah, oh,
Mhm.
I actually heard that blue is very calming. So I have one of those diffusers. So they change from like green to blue to yellow. So
Okay.
and before I go to sleep, on blue. So because it's supposed to be very calming and relaxing. So you kind of see that like before you go to bed. But I'm really liking that rose. Now I want to get that in my
You
room.
got it. Yeah, you got to do it, man. The bulbs is a game changer. I've been inside for 2 months. I got to do something to keep it going.
Oh my God. Wow. All
Mhm.
right. Well, let me officially introduce you. Welcome to this week's series of Plugged In. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining. It's another Tuesday with another dope guest. Let me get these comments off the screen because it's like all over the place here. Yes, we have Jordan Crafton, award-winning filmmaker. Everybody, drop a wave, drop a high five, drop some blessings, and say hi to Jordan. Um, let's jump right into this.
All
So,
right.
who tell the people who is Jordan Crafton? Because a lot of people, may not know you. Some may know you. My followers, your followers. But tell people who is Jordan Crafton. Describe yourself.
I mean, the first thing I am outside of everything is I'm just a dreamer. I'm a kid from a small town out of New York, and I just had a big dream, made it happen. The art saved my life. I wanted to be a jazz musician. I did that for about 10 years. I wanted to be a hotel and restaurant owner, did that for about 5 years. And I've been a filmmaker since then for the last 10 years. So, life has been good, but I'm a dreamer. That's all I am. I'm someone who believed in myself, believed in what God put in my heart, and I chased it. And that's where I am today, just talking to you and telling everybody and showing people my stories and my gift.
I love that. So tell me, how do you go from a jazz musician to, being in the culinary world and then going into film? Like, how did you transition? They're very distant career paths.
Right. You know what it is? I broke all the rules because everything I did, I never had formal teaching. So that's what allowed me to shift gears so much. And when you're a real, when you respect the art form, just being an artist and being a student and just loving that, you know that whenever you make that shift into what you feel is now your purpose, it's easy because you take the time to just dedicate to it and just learn, and that's what made it me. Before I told anybody what I was doing, I knew I just needed to learn. So I took a year or two in between each thing and just went away and just locked away and just read my books and just, did what I needed to do. So everything became seamless. But if you follow people's regular rules and you want to do it the school way and everything like that, then it's going to be tough for you.
Did you always have like some kind of passion for film, or was it something that after you went into the culinary arts and so forth that you started developing a love? Like, what was that moment when it was like, aha, this is where I want, this is what I want to do?
As corny as it sounds, a girl broke my heart. I was dating this girl, she broke my heart, and I was like, man, I want to make a movie about it and show the whole world how she did me crazy. And that's how that is. But I think almost every male artist has that like broken heart girl story, and then it changed their whole life. So I'm basic in that sense.
So when you got into filmmaking, what was like one of the first projects that you worked on?
Ooh, well, it would be my own project. I did a documentary about where I'm from. I'm from Long Island in New York. I did a whole documentary on it, to basically prove to everyone else, because everybody, you think of New York, you think of Brooklyn, you think of Harlem, you don't think of Long Island. So I wanted to big up where I was from and show
I
love.
thought.
So I did that documentary, and that's what opened doors for me. My first real projects is after that, when I started working for Nicki Minaj. And that's what really like started changing things for me and making things a whole movement. And that was a whirlwind in itself.
Shout out Nicki Minaj from Trinidad.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually don't know you're not Caribbean. A lot of my followers are from the, so he's actually like American.
Yeah, I'm really American. I'm probably the fakest Caribbean that you'll ever meet, because I'm ready for any party.
Facts. Had these conversations.
I got the fit and the waist for every party, but in terms of the bloodline, I don't got it.
I know you be YouTubing how to dagger and wine and stuff, so.
Well, yeah, you got to be ready. The Caribbean has the most beautiful women in the world, so you have to be ready to dance with them when they're there.
Amen to that. So you worked with Nicki Minaj, and now you work with Nick Cannon. That's a really big deal. Congratulations on that. How long?
Appreciate it.
And then how did that relationship evolve? Like, how did that even come about?
I've been with Nick now for 8 years. And I mean, to make a long story short, it took me about 8 months to get to Nick. I felt like he was the type of artist that I should be working with.
Right.
Very random time I saw him, I was just like, man, I need to get next to him. So I took that time where I was standing outside radio stations. I was emailing every day. Like I said, I was a Red Lobster manager at that time. Before my servers would cash out, I would have them tweet his assistants my reel to try and, get her to answer me, and no one was really seeing me, because a lot of these people that I later learned are getting hundreds and thousands of messages every day. They weren't seeing me. So finally, I was able to get plugged in with his road manager. And after linking up with him, that opened up the doors for me to join their team and to get working with them. But it was a long process, and it's like that's something that a lot of people wasn't gonna be willing to do. Like like I said, my cousin and I were outside those radio stations about 4 or 5 days a week, 3 a.m. in the morning till like 6, just waiting, and then I'd have to go to work 10 hours, and that's just I was just doing everything.
And wow. that definitely, and it pays off, because if you want something, you have to go for it. You can't expect that somebody else is going to just help you or give you a handout. You have to be able to put in the work.
Right.
Really amazing. Now, what is it that you do for, like, what is your title? You're part of his team now. So what is it that you do for Nick Cannon?
I am a director of photography and an editor.
So let's elaborate on that. A lot of people are probably like, director of photography and editor. Okay, we can get what exactly does the duties entail for a director of photography? Are you taking pictures? Like, what exactly does that entail?
Yeah, a lot of people think I take pictures. I don't take any pictures. Yeah, I'm probably maybe one of the worst photographers, because I can only see things in moving picture. So director of photography, I lead the camera unit. And if Nick is directing a project or we're working on something with a different director, the director and I work closely together to get everything going, just to make sure everything's locked in. Whatever he wants the lighting to be like, if he wants this color lighting in the back, that's my job to put it together. That's my job to make sure that, people of color are seeing the way that they need to be seen. It's my job to make sure that everything's locked in. It's my job to put the whole crew together. It's really, that's what lets me lead that unit to bring the director's vision to life. So it's a very trusting thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really got to lock in order to make things work.
Someone just said, yeah, I thought he was a photographer.
I wish.
You have a lot more responsibility for sure as the director of photography. Now let's talk about, what are some of the projects that you've worked on with Nick? What are some of the things that people may be familiar with?
Okay, so the biggest is Wildin' Out. I did a season of Wildin' Out.
Like, I might have some bars, I think I did.
I mean, hey, listen, I'll push you up. I'll push you to the front of the line. You just got to make sure you take it from there.
I don't know. I don't know. No, probably not. I'm gonna just be on the back end.
Yeah. But yeah, I did a season of Wildin' Out. And then outside of that, we were just shooting the tour movie for Wildin' Out. We had a a 35 city tour that we were on before coronavirus hit. So I was teaming up with him and Kevin Hart's team to do that movie. So, but that got postponed, of course. I started a show with him on Nickelodeon. You know, Nick had this idea. He asked me to help him, and this was 8 years ago. And we did the pilot, pitched that show, and that show was on the air for 8 seasons, over 100 episodes. So that's probably the biggest project I've ever done. But you know, everyone, that's unless you have children or little sisters or brothers, no one was watching that show. And I mean, his movies, you know, we did King of the Dance Hall in Jamaica. Um, I did work on his new film She Ball, a bunch of music videos. I mean, I popped in a couple shows on VH1. You know, I just been moving around.
Okay. And would you say, so is Nick Cannon the same on screen as he is off screen? So like might be regularly when you guys are filming, is he easygoing, you know, very free flowing, or is it kind of like, yo, this has to be like this, da, 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 da? Like, is it an easy relationship?
It's very easy. Like if you don't put him on a pedestal, then he's not gonna put himself there.
Wow.
You know, he's literally gonna lay back and he's gonna allow you to basically say how this relationship's gonna go. Because he's so cool. He's not really worried about a lot of the things. Like people be thinking we run around with private chefs and all that stuff. No, we literally be eating at shacks and food trucks and the Waffle House, and like he's a really simple guy. Now, don't get me wrong, he got money and he showed it. You know what I'm saying? He got the cars and the jewelry and his house and all that, but he really a simple guy. He just wants to create and get the work done. That's really his vibe.
Okay. Is there a quality about him that you admire working with him for so long?
Yeah, number one, to be in the industry this long is, you know, I'd have to tip my hat off to anybody. I mean, we're talking 20 plus years here, but to still work as hard as he does and to be as successful as he is very motivating in itself, because after you hit a certain, you know, vibe and you on cruise control, you shouldn't have to really do all this other stuff. But he really hits the ground running crazy every day. And that make you believe like, all right, if he doing that, then I still got to run around and do what I got to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is one of your favorite memories working with Nick? Like something that was like a really funny story or moments working with Nick Cannon that will be with you for like the rest of your life?
I'm gonna probably end up telling this story in my new series, Bedtime Stories. But when we went to Uganda last year, we got caught in a street riot, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I remember it was myself and him and the driver in the car, and there's maybe a few thousand people in the street against the military. So while they're sitting there throwing stones and stuff like this, I'm like, Nick is laughing, and I'm literally screaming and cursing at the driver because like he don't know what to. I mean, it was to this day. To this day, I'm still confused because I'm like, Nick is, and still I see, you know, my man commented bedtime. So like, yo, it's so crazy because it's like I really thought we was gonna die. I really thought we was gonna die, and Nick is laughing, and I'm losing my mind. If we had been there maybe 5 minutes longer, I think I probably would have hopped in the seat and drove away. But that was, you know. But besides that, like, you know, the crazy thing about me is like it feel like I'm accident prone because everywhere we go, I'm either like, you know, I remember this is when he was still married. I'm in the back in his backyard playing golf, and then Mariah hits a golf ball and it flies and hit me straight into the forehead. You know what I'm saying? And then now I'm on the ground, passed out, and everybody's like all worried. But then like I could hear Nick laughing, but like, so it's there's too many stories.
I want to hear about the Jamaica where you almost got shot.
Okay, so we went to this marketplace to shoot a film. Well, we went to this marketplace to shoot a scene, and everyone on set told us don't go there. Everyone was like, "Yo, don't do that. Don't go there." But of course, Nick is fearless. He believes he could do anything. So he says, no, we're going to go there and we're going to take a limited crew. Jordan, you ready? No. And he's like, all right, cool, let's go. So then we're walking, we got the security and everything. We're walking towards the marketplace. They walk ahead. Me being the winner that I am, I realize I left something in the van. So I turn around to go back to the van. And then as soon as I walk back up, I'm walking back up, they're far from me. Somebody turns around and pulls a gun out on me and is talking all that talk. I don't know what's going on. I'm not from here. I don't know what's happening. And I'm just standing there. Like now I done went back into my New York mode. I'm just gonna stand. I'm not gonna give you any energy. I'm not gonna rise you. I'm not gonna decrease you. And then our security came and ran to come and get me. But that was how that happened. Just because I'm a winner. I see my boy Ratty Rich. He's actually in the King of the Dancehall movie. He in here.
Was that the movie that you guys were working on?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. You definitely sound like you have some issues, that something is always happening to you. I think we need to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, pray for me. Just keep praying for me.
Like a spiritual retreat and get your life together. But it sounds like it would be a really good time working with him, because Nick seems, based on just like seeing videos and stuff, he seems like a really funny person, easygoing, a really enjoyable, relationship. Now, who are some of the other celebrities that you've worked with other than Nick Cannon and Nicki Minaj?
Oh, I mean, countless. We talk about Snoop Dogg, Trey Songz, Young Jeezy, Spike Lee, of course, Mariah.
I want to know about Snoop Dogg's experience, and because
oh, you love Snoop, yeah. First,
feel like I just walk on air, like, nobody can touch me, phase me. Like, his vibe is like that. But let's talk about Snoop Dogg. What was it like working with him?
First of all, they don't call him Uncle Snoop for no reason. Like, when you really pull up, we pulled up to Snoop's crib, and it really was like he came outside in his slippers and a bathrobe and was like, yo, y'all come on in here to the kitchen, get something to eat first. And we was like, I was like, oh, this is crazy. So we all go inside, we chilling, we set up, and then it's a requirement to smoke with him before you work.
Okay. So what smoke?
Well, we smoked some of whatever he had. I'm not now here's the thing, like I prefer alcohol over weed, and I don't even know the differences between loud and weed and this and that. Kush, I don't even really know. But I'm not gonna not smoke with Snoop. If that is at my door, let's go. So now all of us are high, and then we go to film. And we were filming a segment for Yo MTV Whips with Snoop and his cars and stuff. But it was really fun. But it's funny.
So that's a requirement. That's very. I mean, I can see that being the case actually, but that's very interesting. And then what about Spike Lee?
Spike, man. First of all, I'm a humongous fan of Spike, and I wanted to have, because I was such a fan, I wanted to have a personal moment with him where I could just chop it up, pick his brain a little bit. And I was praying about it, like, man, God, how could I, because I was a little nervous because like I said, I'm a real fan. So we was at his house and I'm in the living room, and Spike came up to me and he was just like, hey, man, you know who you look like? And I was like, I don't know, my dad. And he was like, no, you look like Kanye West. And I was just like, all right. And then because of that, we had like a 25-minute conversation about just filmmaking. And it was really dope how something that simple, he was willing to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? But something that simple just opened up the door, and it just made it a vibe.
So do you think that outside of working with Nick Cannon, that would be one of your best experiences, working with a celebrity? Or is there another celebrity that you think that you had a really great experience with as well?
Yeah, no. But because Nick is Nick I've spent the most time with. All these other people, it's kind of like we do a gig here or there, in and out. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that you're working on the What Now film with Kevin Hart?
Well, no, that passed. That was in 2016.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I don't. If I had to be, I feel like if I had to work with Kevin Hart, I don't know how I would be able to maintain a straight face. So when you're filming with him, I imagine that he's funny like all the time. So how did you balance out, like, because you were a camera operator for that project? So how did you balance
Mhm.
out being behind the camera, trying not to die laughing, and stay focused?
You know what it is? Kevin is a different type of animal because first of all, the most of his projects, he's also an executive on it. So when that scene is done, he turns into a whole different guy. He separates himself and goes straight into, all right, this is what we need to do. He's very action oriented, so you don't even really have the time to not be focused because your leader isn't joking around.
Yeah.
So and that's very impressive for him to be able to just do that and not feel no way about nothing. Not don't piss nobody off. Like it's very impressive.
Okay. And you're now working on the Dr. Sebi Nipsey Hussle
Yeah.
documentary. So
Hmm.
when you found out that you would be working on like such a like profound documentary, how did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, if I be honest, I had no idea who Dr. Sebi was.
Okay.
So when I remember when Nick called me in his office and was like, "Yo, we about to do this," and I was like, "Oh, okay," because even at that time, I wasn't even a big Nipsey Hussle fan, so I really didn't know any of the inner workings. So it took me a few days into just hopping into the project, hit the ground running, and doing my research to be like, oh, "Okay, this is gonna be impactful." But even then, it's when you're making something, you never know. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of great stories out there that a lot of people will never see or never hear.
Mhm.
So I just I don't think I really got it until we released the trailer, and then it just went. But I mean, when we my mentions, I mean, Nick's page, and then all the emails and the it just it was intense. It
Yeah,
was intense.
huge deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you,
It'll be my biggest film.
exactly. Were you ever concerned for your safety? That's a really good question, given the situation.
Because I've been in so many wild places in my life and stories and even like my network, my network of just friends are from felons to scholars. So like I wasn't really concerned. It was just more about I think anything we do, you have to be smart, you have to be aware. But that was always just my normal, just let me just make sure that I'm not being ignorant out here while we're doing the film.
Okay. And what do you think people can expect from this film?
Uh to want to change their life, to stop, you know what I mean? Like people go into their kitchen and they go grocery shopping and they just live their life like there's no consequences. And this film will show you like, all right, there's a lot of things that we go through that are very avoidable. And let's say, God forbid, you get caught up with something like cancer or AIDS or sickle cell or lupus. Your body is meant to be able to heal itself. And this movie is not only going to teach you ways that you can do that, but it's going to just expand your mind to be like, yo, there is more. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop just listening to what people are telling us and start listening to what our bodies are telling us, and then take it in the next direction and just find our own truth. So people should leave enlightened. What they do leave with, I don't know, but they should leave enlightened.
Okay, so would you say that you lean more towards like homeopathic medicine versus Western?
Ooh, nah, I like a healthy mix of both. You know, I ain't gonna hold you just because. Uh,
I mean, this is you, there's no right or wrong answer. So, because I know now, a lot of people are moving towards, you know, that homeopathic lifestyle, and then some people are still, you know, going to the pharmacy to get their Advils and their this and their that. So I don't know if you, I guess you balance out both.
Yeah. In my opinion, I would say a healthy mix of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my whiskey neat, but I also enjoy a Long Island iced tea. So that's how my life kind of is.
All right, that's and are you a healthy eater? Like, what is your lifestyle in terms of, like, you know, maintaining a healthy diet?
Well, before I did this, I've been plant-based for the last 2 years. So, um, I've been like doing the healthy way. But what happened was for me, I actually got sick in 2018 while we were on set of Wild 'N Out. I kept going back and forth to the hospital, and everyone told me I was fine, but I felt terrible. So after I came back to New York, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna make the change myself. I just stopped eating meat, and that cured me. So I just never went back, and I try to live that lifestyle, but every now and again, I mean, my vices, like I do love like cookies. You know what I mean? I gotta stay away from them, but I try to stay pretty healthy.
So strictly plant-based, so no seafood, no fish, no nothing.
No,
Okay, that's a very, I feel like for me, I don't know if I could ever do that because I feel like I would be hungry all the time. And I
Yeah,
like I need chicken, I need beef. I kind of like pork, you know. I could probably do without seafood, but the plant-based, I think that that definitely takes a lot of discipline to maintain that type of lifestyle, you know.
I mean, so does walking. You know what I mean? And look, I bet if you walked right now, everybody would be like, "You nice with it." So it's just you just gotta commit to whatever you want, and your body will change. You know what I'm saying? So
That's true. So with the Dr. Sebi, so it's Dr. Sebi and Nipsey Hussle. The documentary is about both, correct?
no, it's produced. See, Nipsey started it.
Okay.
So when he was murdered, then Nick picked it up, and that's why we're doing it. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you keep the authenticity of the film, given that, you know, neither of those persons are here today to be able to express? So, like, you know, how do you maintain that with them not being here to contribute it?
You have to deal. Well, number one, you have to interview their family. So Dr. Sebi, a lot of people don't know this, but he arguably has anywhere from like 30 to like 100 children.
I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah, it's unknown. The exact number is unknown, but there's at least like 30 or 35.
Wow. Okay.
So all the ones we could find, we interviewed every single one of them.
How many,
And
give or take?
I'm sorry.
I think you interviewed, give or take.
Yeah, we interviewed like 30.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, we reached out to. There's only a couple left, and yes, there's a couple left that we're going to interview after quarantine is up.
He has to be
Uh,
records for most kids, like 30 kids.
he might, or most unpaid child support is either one. I don't know. I don't know whoever he is, he's the best. So, but it's so that's what you have to do. So when people aren't alive, you have to get as close to them as possible. So their family, their children, their co-workers, their partners, their everything. You have to do all of that in terms of trying to get the best narrative
Hmm.
that's honest, and we made our honest effort to do that, to go and just reach out to everyone, and the funny thing is when you talk to one person, then they tell you, wait, have you talked to, oh wait, you gotta go over there, and then now we done talk to another five people who weren't originally on the list. So but that's why with documentaries you got to take your time, you got to be very patient, because the first story you see may lead you into the right story, and you had no idea. So you have to be patient because you never really know where you're going to go.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no official release date yet for the documentary, or is there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Hmm.
So is there because like I said, this is a really big deal. Like this is going to impact the lives of many people around the world. So while working on that film, was there any specific time or memory that, you know, it will stand out to you, you know, while working on that film?
Yeah, when we went to Honduras, because he's from Honduras, and that's where his like that's where he still does his healing. So, well, that's where his family still does the healing and stuff.
Right.
So what was impactful there was, you know, for people who know Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC, you know, in her last few years in her life, she spent mad time there. So to see the spot where she died, to see the rooms that she stayed in, to see that, I remember she built a school over there for children, you know, to go to the school and to see that and things like that was, you know, because now I had something for the first time. This was something that linked me to my childhood. You know, I hadn't known Sabi before. I hadn't known Nipsey. You know, I knew a couple songs, but I wasn't that big of a fan. But now that I had this moment, it finally drew a line for me because I'm like, oh, okay, now I have a personal connection with someone who was here. And that made the difference for me.
So do you think that you have a newfound respect for both Nipsey and Dr. Sebi?
Absolutely. You know, well, first of all, once you just learn about them, you'd have to be an angry person to not like just like what they were doing. I mean, what Nipsey stood for, what Sabi stood for, the lives he was, you know, the lives he was healing, you know, the information, you know, I mean, and then these are just two black men who were just, you know, blazing a trail to move us forward. And if you can't respect that, then we gotta have a conversation on the other side. Like, but learning about them has been very pleasurable for me just to hear and just to see, you know, what happened.
Okay. I'm kind of jealous. I would have loved to have been a part of that because my life would just change and it would be an amazing experience. So you have worked on a lot of different films and you are an award-winning filmmaker. So what award did you win in filmmaking?
I won third place at the Got Film Festival a few years ago for a short I did. I was an honorable mention at the 30 Under 30 Festival with my documentary, Strong Island. And there's one more that I can't. Oh, I won an award. I'm sorry. I won third place last year for an audio drama that I did. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
But I've
And
never won first. I need first.
it's okay, but with your work ethic, I'm sure it's gonna come. So
I need the gold. My boy Jared is in here, and he just posted a picture today. He won second place at a Tribeca festival last year.
okay.
Like, mm-hmm.
What's his name?
His name's Jared.
Hey Jared, shout out Jared. Keep going, Jared. We have a whole cheer squad here. So you said that the Nickelodeon project was like, you know, a special project to you. Is there any other project? It could, you know, doesn't matter who the celebrity was or if there even is a celebrity that you worked with. Like, what do you say? What would you say has the most special place in your hearts? A project.
It's that Nickelodeon. I mean, that Nickelodeon project changed my life.
Oh wow.
I mean, literally. Let's look at it this way. I was a Red Lobster manager. Now, it was a great job,
Yeah.
but having the opportunity to make that pilot with Nick and pitch it and sell it to the network, and then, I mean, pitch it and sell it to the network, that was the moment that I could say, oh, I'm quitting my job now, you know, and, you know, to have a television show that has over 100 episodes is, I mean, that's an invisible award in itself. But it literally transitioned me from, you know, the dream chaser to someone who was actually acting through the dream now, you know, and it opened the doors for all this. I would have never met you if it wasn't for that show.
For real.
You know what
Curious.
I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it works. So what's next? Because, you know, things are changing. We have a new normal where we're doing this. You know, prior to the situation, you and I probably would not have been able to sit down and do this because you're on the road all the time. Every time I call you, you're in Africa, or you're here, you're in Jamaica, and you know, it's hard for us to like kind of catch up. So with everything that's been changing now due to the pandemic, what do you think is, how do you see things, I guess evolving, or what's next for you when it comes to the entertainment industry? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
The first thing that's gonna have to happen for a lot of artists, they're gonna have to learn how to really trust themselves. Because now people aren't just gonna be throwing money at projects and get, you know, it was already hard to get a chance before, but now it's gonna be even more difficult. So the people who really trust themselves, the people who are really, divinely connected to their purpose, and take the time to mature some of these ideas, they're gonna be fine. But they have to really understand the necessity to have to be able to do that because, like we just said, I mean, the budgets are gonna change. I don't even know what life is gonna be like with shows that film with a studio audience. I don't know how they're even gonna do that. You know, I also do know that in America, we are in the land of the greedy. So after a while, they're just not going to care anymore. And if you get sick and die, there's whatever.
All over again.
So it is what it is. But I know for me personally, it's about not only doing the projects that I was doing before, but it's about just creating in different ways, telling stories in different ways, and trying to engage a new audience. And like that's what, like I was telling about earlier, like my bedtime stories are about. It's just about stretching out.
Okay, so two things. So before we speak about the bedtime stories, how are you actually keeping yourself, because you're a creative, so how are you keeping yourself motivated during this time? Because I know, like, I've spoken to a lot of different artists, whether it be entertainers, filmmakers, producers, and a lot of people are struggling right now to be able to maintain a level of creativity on a daily basis. So what's actually keeping you motivated to go through this time?
It's several things, because first of all, there's no perfect equation. There's no perfect formula to do it. Some days feel different than the other, so you have to have a bucket of solutions to really get you through. And some of them are bike rides, going for runs, simple things. I try to watch at least one senseless work a day. So that if some people that could be reality television, some, maybe that's a comedy on Netflix or something like that. My lights, my environment has to be a certain vibe. Then I have to challenge myself in different ways. I have fitness challenges. If I'm in a real big bind, then I have to sit there and I got to knock out 100 push-ups or something like that just to try and restart my mind. Music, motivational speeches. I mean, we've been here so long that you really have to exhaust everything.
Yeah, exactly. But do you have a morning routine? Like when you wake up in the morning, is there anything specific that you do? Whether it be, you say a prayer, you get up and make lunch. I love lunch more than breakfast. So I always think about lunch. But, make breakfast or you go for a walk. Like, is there anything on a daily basis that you do to kind of keep yourself grounded?
The only thing that I've done consistently for like maybe the last 15 years is every morning I wake up, all I say is thank you.
I do the same.
Yeah, I say thank you, and then I get going on whatever it may be. Before the pandemic, I used to wake up with just enough time to get ready to head to the office. So just run out, get, shower real quick, get dressed, whatever. But I don't really leave myself much wiggle room, because I exhaust so much of the day, no matter what. Like, I'm always either at the computer working, I'm writing, I'm doing something. So my sleep has to be very, very specific. But that's the only thing I do when I get up. Just say thank you, and then I get started.
Okay. Now let's talk about this bedtime stories. Oh. So I'm actually going to post it after. So those of you who are watching, I'll post one of his bedtime stories, and then you guys can check out his page as well. Make sure you follow. His tag is on the pin at the bottom. So I watched your bedtime stories. I want you to tell the people, because a lot of people that follow me may not know what these bedtime stories are. So I want you to share with them about the bedtime stories. But, more importantly, how did you even decide to do this? Was it out of sheer boredom that you decided to do this? Because you're essentially, sharing your life. But the cool thing about it is that as much as it's, all fun and games and, it's funny to watch and whatnot, or it's entertaining, it must take a lot of time to do because you're pulling clips, then you have to use the emojis, and then you have to do a voiceover. So it's multiple things to pull this together. It's not just like a random couple clips here. So you can see that there's a lot of detail in it. You can see that there's a lot of work put into it. So tell the people about bedtime stories.
You know, it was the most random of ideas. I literally woke up one day and was like, man, I went and bought a microphone and I was like, I'm about to just tell some stories. You know, because just growing up, I was always the nigga in the hood that just talked a lot. I just always had a lot to say. So now it was just my turn to just do it in this sense. You know, so now I have all these random stories my whole life. And I'm like, all right, let me tell them to the people. And I mean, I feel like God really sent it to me because like it didn't make sense in the beginning. And even when I first started telling a couple of my friends inside the first couple hours I had the idea, it was like, I mean, I don't know. You know, I was like, trust me, it's gonna work. You know, so I just started doing it. And then now it's almost like therapy because now I get to tell people, you know, how I got robbed or how I got into this fight or how I did this or, you know, I almost died here, almost did this, you know, this girl is, it's just, it turned into fun, you know. And now it's almost like a community now because now people are sending me their stories for me to tell them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So well, that's really good because now, like you said, it's like therapy, and a lot of people are going through so much right now, and they're trying to use different outlets. So some people might go on and watch Ludacris and Nelly on live or
Right.
DJ, and you know that's their way of kind of just trying to go through the motion. So now people are actually able to express through you, if you decide that you take on their stories. So that's actually really beautiful, and I'm proud. And I didn't think that's where you were going with that just now. Wants to hear about him losing his virginity because that's one of the bedtime stories, and I watched it and I was cracking up. I said this to my girlfriend and I was like, you need to watch this. I was like, because this is just really entertaining.
Yo, listen, the fact that that virginity story is even funny in the first place is it just shows how like, yo, people really don't be talking to each other. Like the fact that I thought that, you know, using expired condoms was lit, you know, it's just, you know, it's just we need to talk to each other. And
yeah. I'm just to clarify, guys, there's no baby that came out of that situation.
Yeah, no children, no children.
He's good. Thankfully. But those stories, oh gosh, but I commend you for using you know, using your creativity and using, you know, things that you may have gone through, whether they've been struggles or challenges, to find humor in it, to be able to have other people, you know, it resonates with other people, kind of bring humor to other people. Someone just said, did you do it with your sneakers on?
Nah, I took the sneakers on, but my socks was on. I had the socks on.
Oh gosh. And you know, for those of you watching, feel free to drop your questions in here. Jordan would be happy. I'm answering on behalf of him. He'd be happy to take questions from you guys. So there's a question box at the bottom that has a question mark, or you can just put it in the chat. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to share. One of the series that you did, I know that you spoke about, you know, racial discrimination. So right now there's a lot of spotlight in the media with challenges of, you know, being Black in America. So would you mind sharing about that experience? Because I know that you spoke about fear and so forth, but right now we're living in a time that it is really scary to be, you know, that in America.
Yeah, you know, as a Black man, you have to be careful about almost everything you do. You know, even if it's just getting in the car and driving or walking down the street or what street, you know, even if you're in an all Black neighborhood, you just have to know where you're going, you know, because you could get caught up and you don't want to be none of that, you know. But dealing with, you know, where I grew up, I never had to worry about my interaction with white people. Then when I went to college, you know, inside that first month, I had that interaction. And, you know, to just speed through the story, my friend was dating a white girl. He asked me to go out with them and her friend. I didn't really feel comfortable because I didn't know nothing about white women at that time. But I still went just because my boy was going. And then we didn't even make it around the corner. We were literally in front of the cafeteria where we got pulled over and the police beat myself and my friend up. for basically being out with two white girls. And the toughest part about it was the next day when I told everybody at the school, well, when we did, no one believed us.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept it to myself because I'm like, if no one believes me, I'll just keep it to myself. But you just, there are ways to protect yourself. There are things that I learned through that story, living that story. And there's things that I'm learning even telling the story, by talking to other people. Because the first thing that happened was people hitting me in my DM talking about, yo, that happened to me in Kentucky. That happened to me in Chicago. That happened, so it's a lot of people who get hurt and they don't tell nobody. So then now we're just walking around as a battered people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's no good either, so, and that's where a lot of this even, as much as I want to do the jokes and the funny and the foolish and the ignorance and the nigga shit, is also important that I put, seeds in the ground just for our people to, and be encouraged to speak too, because that's what the arts is for, but it really changed my life. And I mean, to this day, like, first of all, I love black women. I've only dated black women, but even to this day, like, if a white woman comes up to me and starts flirting with me, I got nothing for it. I totally lock up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's similar to, like, you could say PTSD, but I got nothing for it.
Mm-hmm.
All this personality, but me, we met randomly and it's just love. Nah, white woman come to me, start talking. Nah, it's over. I got nothing for you.
I don't mean to laugh, but I can completely understand, especially after going through something like that. That's very traumatizing.
You see, my boy Jamal just said not a thing.
Oh God, a lot of people don't understand that we don't see cops as safety. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Wendy. So how do you think that we can break the stigma surrounding mental health within the Black community? Because right now I think that it's being talked about more, but like, how do we navigate this? Because there is a lot of mental health issues within our community.
Yeah, there is. And I mean, first it's especially when we talk about people of color, we need to encourage men to feel comfortable to talk about what they're feeling, what they're going through. I went through so many years feeling like I had something to say and people telling me that I shouldn't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I had to toughen up. I had to do this, and it led me into, years and years, which turns into a downward spiral of just, mixed emotions and mixed feelings. But we have to do that to where we talk, and then we also have to just realize exactly what's going on. The likelihood of things completely changing, I mean, that's really unlikely.
Yeah.
I really don't want, I don't know if I really want everyone to change. I really just think I would want just to be smart enough to maneuver around everybody.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, even if it's just a white or black thing or a black on black thing, someone gonna hate you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you just deal with hate? How do you just want to move around that? If you got a bad boss, how do you work around your bad boss? You know what I'm saying? Whether they black or white, it's still just a bad boss. So
Yeah.
that's the lessons that I'm trying to learn now, and I'm trying to share at least to people that I'm connected with.
I think exactly what you're saying. A lot of people, and I feel like it's a generational thing. Like, we were taught, especially like for me, I can say that Caribbean parents have always taught us to not go to therapy. And if you're having an issue, or you have you're stressing about something, or you're processing something that's negative, you should drink tea and just go to bed. That's what they would tell you. They don't believe in talking about your problems. They just believe in, like, you'll get through it. Just deal with it, be able to function in life, and you'll be fine. And I think just the Black community on a whole kind of has that same mentality, where it's like, I don't want to open up. I'm scared to open up, because if I open up, leaving myself to be vulnerable, and am I going to be attacked, and all of these other things. But I feel like, things are shifting a little bit, but I think that that's why it's important for us to all kind of contribute to that space, because
Right.
be able to share, like, even with my women's event. So I just came off of and today's actually my 2nd-year anniversary for my women's event. And on Sunday, I was saying the same thing. That's the reason that I created the platform, because I also want women to be able to feel safe to share a story. They can come together, and it's not about just coming together and bashing anyone or talking, but it's sharing things that, you're going through, that's causing you, whether it's PTSD, or, just causing you stress to not be able to find your purpose and move forward with your life. And I'm considering doing a men's event. I'll talk to you about this more after this, because I think that it's needed in the community, and more in talking to different men, I feel like a lot of men can benefit from that situation, you know, just having a safe
definitely,
where they can come together and share, and be around other men, like other strong men like yourself, that it's not like you're coming and you're telling me a story and a man is going to judge you, that you're not man enough because you're sharing a story, you know?
right. Mm-hmm.
I agree 100% with that. Now, what advice do you have for persons who are struggling with finding their purpose? Because, you know, knowing you for over the time that I've known you, I can definitely say that you walk in your purpose and that you into your calling. So for those people who either, you know, maybe want to transition from they're in a career, but you know, there's something gnawing at them saying, no, this is where you need to be, this is where you need to be doing, and they're not listening to that, or just persons in general that are going through life, you know, aimlessly walking and unable to figure out what their actual purpose is. What advice do you have for those persons?
The first thing that I think everyone needs to do is to break their convictions. You know, a lot of our convictions in life are what people told us, what we heard, what we see. You know, I've seen so many people tell me how my life was supposed to be while their life is full of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. Or if you tell me that oh my God, I'm so proud of you, but Jordan, I wish you could do this, 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 and that. Well, if you're doing this, this, and that, and you're not full of peace and joy, then why on earth would I add that into my equation? So I think people need to really take a step back. And this is what the pandemic, I believe, was supposed to do for a lot of people. It was supposed to let you be the first time that a lot of people would actually be in front of the mirror and actually see what they look like. Because you can't even change anything in you. You can't even decide to change the direction in your life until you see exactly where you are. You know what I'm saying? You look at a map, I need to know you are here right now, and then I can know where I need to go. You know, so I would say to take a step back, look at yourself, see what's really going on, and then break your convictions. Because if everything you've been doing has led you to a point where you're not full of peace and joy right now, then you need to change the entire playbook. Everything needs to change. That doesn't mean that you need to go change religions and all that, but maybe you need to spend more time with your God. Maybe you need to spend more time in your word and build that covenant. Maybe you need to spend more time with your family. I don't know. But you need to take that step back, look in the mirror, and really check yourself, and then make some decisions that are actually yielded in actual truth and not what everyone else. Quiet that noise. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll really start to find out where you're going to go.
Okay. And because you're on the road all the time talking about family, like how do you keep yourself sane when you're on, like, not around your family? Because a lot of people depend on having family support. So when you are on the road and, you know, you're traveling every weekend and whatnot, how do you maintain a level of sanity, not being around your family, your friends, and your support system?
You know, that's probably the toughest. But I'm a bigger picture person. You know, as long as I can still see that, you know, then I'm okay. But throughout my life, I haven't done the quality of life thing very well. I haven't taken vacations, and you know, you're not going to see me just wilding out for no reason. But what's happening for me to and it still stay connected is I just have to make sure some part of my day is still connecting. You know, as long as I can do that, then I feel like nothing is really lost. I may not be gaining anything, but I don't want to lose anything. Like, that's a part of my life that's very important. I might not always get more, but I can't lose what I have.
Okay. So, you know, Instagram cuts off after an hour, so it's going to end. So I have a couple more questions for you, and I see that there's a question in here. So if you have maybe like another 15 minutes or so, let's jump back on. People engaged and they're enjoying this conversation. So everything that's on right now, we are going to come off for like 3 seconds and jump right back on so we can reset the clock. So Kimmy, Dia, Janelle, everyone, join us back here in less than a minute. And let me just get this, let me pull this question. So I have it here. Okay, Jay, so I'll see you in about 15 seconds.
All right, cool.
Okay, bye. Hey all, we are back on, just waiting for Jordan to jump back in here. It's a really great conversation. happening. Love hearing, insight from the men. So I don't know if something has changed on Instagram. Let me get my cool filter back. But all of a sudden, I can't, like, my IG live is not being shared on my page. Why? What did
It
something?
goes, yeah, I think it goes to IGTV now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Because
don't really.
I just saw it. So after I ended it, it said go to IG Live TV. So I put it towards it. So now it's no longer on your IG story. Like, when usually you click, you could just see live story.
Yeah, now it's gonna. I mean, you could take it off of IGTV and what you need to do with it, but that's where it's gonna live now.
When did this happen?
Like a week and a half ago. Yeah, it totally changed. It totally changed. Like, you know how Instagram does, like you'll wake up and everything will be different.
Yeah. And it happens ever so often, and you're like, what the heck just happened? Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
know.
all
I'm
right.
waiting till the day I wake up and I got 1 million followers. I'm gonna be like, all right, thank you.
I want like 1 million YouTube followers so that I can get some,
See,
X.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
see, you about your money. You want
and why does IG pick and choose who can stay on for hours? Yeah, I don't know. Do you know it? Because this might be a good question for you because you're in that entertainment world. You know how IG only gives us, well, us regular people, we only get an hour. But like when D Nice and everyone else goes on, their thing goes for longer than an hour, and Instagram does not cut them off. Is there something we're missing here?
I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say they just talk to, the powers that be, and they get that play.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like I'm gonna send you an email. Just forward it to Nick and tell Nick that my needs to go a little bit longer than an hour so that I don't get cut off. Be like, hey, I'm Nick Cannon's friend. Like, just let me be. I just need like an hour and a half without getting cut off. So it's one straight video. Because you
I,
know how I feel about editing. I'm not trying to edit nothing.
nah, I feel you. I feel you.
But yes, welcome back. So I see a lot of actually new people that are joining. Hey Luge, hey Motion, Christina. I'm here right now with Jordan Crafton, award-winning filmmaker. He is, one of the right hands to Nick Cannon. He's just been doing a lot of really great things in the community and in the entertainment space. So we're gonna go back to our interview. And what was now I completely forgot. What was the last thing we were talking about?
I was talking about losing your convictions and seeing yourself and
Yes. So someone was saying just now, what if you just don't know at all? Like some people, when you sit still, you're able to hear that message. But like, what about those folks that, you come out of school or, you've been working this dead end job for a while and you just don't know what to do with yourself? Like, do you still suggest like, really trying to be still with yourself? Or is there some other form of advice? And even, I think you should maybe even address the fear of transitioning from one to the next, because you went from, again, being a jazz musician to working at Red Lobster as a manager to now working for Nick Cannon. So a lot of people are fearful of making that transition, from one to the next. So what advice would you have for those folks?
it's really the same thing. And well, first of all, the big thing that people have to get down with is everything that's difficult is usually meaningful. There's not a person that I know, at least, a husband or a wife that says marriage is easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But marriage is a coveted thing. It's a beautiful thing. If you can figure it out and you can work it out and it's divine, that's a beautiful thing. It's hard to do. When you was a baby and you had to learn how to walk, that was pretty difficult. You know what I'm saying? You had to try, you had to look at other people, you figured it out. And then when we talk about just finding your purpose and in the midst of your current season, it's easy to hate.
Mm-hmm.
That might be one of the most easiest things anyone could do. But
Yeah.
it's actually very difficult to learn or to love. So you just have to take your time. Everybody wants everything to just happen so fast overnight. If I pray about it tonight, God, deliver me my purpose tonight, I'm supposed to wake up with it, or I'm supposed to have a dream with it. It might take some time, but you got to lock in. I'd rather spend a year or two searching in my faith for what's true to me than spend a lifetime being mad that I never found out what was for me. And when you put it up like that, a year or two of just, you know, being focused, or maybe even if it takes 10 years, I'd rather 10 years of chasing my purpose to find out what it is than,
yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. What do you think it would be your dream project? So if, you know, any project in the world that you could possibly work on is something that you really want to work on, what do you think that would be?
I mean, my favorite movies are probably the worst movies. Like I love Adam Sandler movie. If I could do a movie with Adam Sandler, that probably make me so happy. I mean,
but he's funny as hell, so
yeah, he is, but they're not really, like, you're not gonna watch an Adam Sandler movie in film school. Like you're just not gonna do it. But those are the movies that changed my life. But if I had my way, like outside of that, it would be to make a television series that would live the test of time. You know, make something like Friends, or make something like Martin or Fresh Prince, or, you know what I mean, something that people could watch for all of time. That would be a dream come true.
Okay. And who was your role model when you were a child?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I mean, my first real role model was probably my oldest brother. Yeah, probably my oldest brother.
That's cute.
You know, he set a lot of things up for me to be just focused, just quick about him. He was enormously talented as a musician. He won at the Apollo several times. He got a full music scholarship, went to school, dropped out the first semester because he got signed to Bad Boy as a producer.
That's
Um, yeah, did that for a few years, you know what I mean? And he's 10 years older than me, excuse me. And he really put a lot of things in me to, just as a dream chaser, someone who just has to have solid work ethic. I got to just see it in my face every day, and he would be the first one as a role model.
so talent just runs in your family, clearly.
You know what? Talent, yes, but really more so because it was like he was very gifted, but the rest of us, we had to like really figure it out. And then even after his gift opened up doors for him, there was a significant amount of challenges that he had to change himself in many ways to be competitive and to still stay relevant. And because he was able to do that, that ended up being his biggest gift. Being present in the moment and knowing that, okay, yesterday wasn't good enough to get me to tomorrow. So in order to do that, I have to change today in order to get there. And that was probably his greatest gift. And that's what I try to do every day.
Okay. So did he teach you how to play, not play, well, let's start with, what instrument can you play?
Saxophone and the piano.
Did he teach you to play either of those?
No. Yeah, because I really started late. I didn't really start really practicing as a musician until I was about 15. And so by the time I was doing that, I mean, he was long into what he was living. But I had good teachers though that was able to just get me going fast, and then I was very dedicated. I was practicing maybe about 5 or 6 hours a day, for the next probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah.
Confirm, you're a self-taught filmmaker.
Hmm.
So no schooling, everything was just all on you.
Yeah, YouTube University.
Okay. So do you suggest that people, go that path? Like, do you think, well, I mean, I would say obviously because of where you are today, and the amount of amazing projects that you've worked on, and just excelled in that industry. But that's crazy to think that you did not take any schooling and everything. Because even in that situation, to have that discipline to sit down and force yourself to learn something without having an actual teacher, like watching YouTube and learning it off of YouTube and excelling in that craft is really, really incredible.
Yeah, like I said, I've always been a rebel since I was a kid. I talk a lot of talk. I was always a wild boy. I got into a bunch of stuff, and then I love to break rules. And but inside being a student, you have to understand, if you actually want to break the rules, you have to learn all of them first.
Hmm.
So that's what YouTube did for me. Bunch of tutorials, but I also did my homework. I read a lot of books. I have a library here in my crib, like, you know what I mean? And there's everything from character development to directing to storytelling, to my favorite novels and things like that, and autobiographies. So you really, if you're going to disrespect the system, then you really have to do your homework. You have to almost be even more of a student than you would if you had the structure of a college or some type of whatever school. You have to work a lot harder. So but the consequences are high on this side too. Because if you go to school, then you get to get your network up. I know there's people that I look up to today, and they're like, yo, my roommate is now my business partner, and I'm sitting in their studio in downtown Manhattan, and I'm like, this is nice. And I'm like, you know what? But I didn't have a roommate that I went to school with, that we was gonna work with for it. So it's, we gotta remember, Facebook was made in a dorm room.
Yeah, yeah. Who is JD Crafton? Because I'm like, did
That's
somebody?
my oldest brother.
Oh, I'm looking at it and I'm like, is someone trying to catfish you right now? Because what's going on, Jordan's older brother? We were just talking about you. Were your ears ringing? Did you hear us? No, but shout out your big bro. He's doing a lot of great things as well. So what inspires you?
Oh, well, first of all, the big thing that inspires me is that I actually haven't painted my full picture yet. It's, almost imagine, like, every time you went to make your favorite meal, you realize that you forgot something at the store. And that's kind of how my life is. I know what the picture looks like, but for some reason I keep running out of colors. And the beautiful thing is, it's not that I wasn't prepared, it's just that as the days go on, I realize I need more colors. So the fact that I'm growing, I'm still learning, I know that there's more for me, and I trust that image that has been shown to me. That's the most inspiring thing I could ever ask for. And then you have a lot of dark days as an artist, as a dream chaser, period. There's a lot of nights where you just feel beat up, and then I have some moments in my life when I didn't even know where my next check was coming from, and you really had to just be in love. So, and that was the beautiful part, the fact that I am in love and I trust God and I trust that purpose. I really not need for much else.
Oh, my pores are raising. Look at you with your no words. I know messages after this from some of the girls like, hey, so who's your friend? Who's that guy?
I mean, well, they gotta follow me to put, what I mean, you gotta come. You gotta come.
On. Make sure y'all go over and follow him. It's pinned at the bottom, but I'll tag him after as well. And Jordan's people, come check me out. I'm from the Caribbean. Got some cool things going on over here. You love your Chinese.
I do. And that's why, first of all, you didn't even talk about how we met in the first place and how we've been mad cool since that day. Like,
tell the people about how we met.
I mean, we went to Curacao for a comedy show, and Nick started DJing at a club afterwards, and you were like you made sure we were safe. You made sure we knew where to go. And I mean, you poured me my glass of Johnny Walker. You really did that. You might actually be like our angel. I don't know. Like, now that I think about it, because you provided safety, direction, and alcohol. Like, that's actually pretty fantastic. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, that was a really good trip though. We had gone to Curacao. Shout out. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Wow, just DJ Power. DJ Power did a weekend getaway called Escape Fest. Washy Fire was down in Canada, the team. And it was like we were there for like 3-4 days in Curacao, and I remember us at the club. Like, you guys, we turned up that night at the club though, and mind you, in Curacao, it's not like it's necessarily English speaking parts. It's mostly someone said that's Kerra. it's mostly, you know, it's Spanish. So we're in the club and we're trying to teach the other people there like English and all the English songs, like the hip hop songs, this and that. And it was a whole vibe. And even when we left, wasn't there a situation that happened with the bus driver? Like he was taking us back to the hotel, and I remember I got into an argument with him kind of or something. I don't remember what it was, but
I forgot about that.
and then we ended up like sitting outside for like hours at the hotel just talking. But yeah, that's how, you know, build.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then we met those girls from Netherlands. Was it? Yeah, Netherlands.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I'm glad that we connected then, because now, you know, I have an American friend and you got a Trini friend. So
Yeah.
our cultures, you know, and breaking barriers together.
Yeah.
So I mean, aside from me, you know, who is one person that you would have always wanted to meet? Because, you know,
I mean, pretty much after I met you, everything else was
yeah,
subpar. But who do I want to meet?
and they could be someone who has passed or someone that's still here, but like one person, like if they told you, yo, tomorrow you can go to lunch with this person, who would that person be?
I mean, no one else is gonna know this in here. I mean, John Coltrane, he's my favorite jazz saxophonist of all time.
Okay.
His picture's on my wall. No one's even gonna know him. But if I'll pick a better one. Uh, just because, yeah, no one's gonna know that. If I could meet anybody, yeah, yeah, Michael Jordan.
Are you watching the documentary right now?
Are you kidding? My phone is on airplane mode when that documentary is playing. Like, you can't talk to me. Like,
I
I'm
actually
a,
just started it yesterday. So somebody said West Indians know musicians too. Don't do that. You better tell him. You better.
hey, well, then there you go. You know,
Okay, Michael Jordan. That's a really good one. And music. Okay, so what John? Why wouldn't we know Culture? Oh, Wendy coming to you.
I didn't know y'all was jazz lovers. I didn't know.
Ladies, tell him, put him on blast. I mean, you know, I know you're forever singing and stuff, you know, low key. So what in the shower? What are you singing in the shower? Like, what genre of music is like your happy music?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, and you know this, my favorite music outside of jazz is actually soca. That's, but yeah, but the last 2 days has been compa just for my Haitian friends, you know.
Listen, so I did my first plugged in series on live I did with DJ Stacks, who's like a huge Haitian DJ. Because like we met a couple of years ago, and you know, like I kind of listened to compa here and there, but when I just before interviewing him, like I went on a couple of his lives, and like he was putting me onto some songs, and I'm like, this is what I've been missing this whole time. Like compa music and zouk is amazing. Like I love soca, love dancehall, you know, love reggae, but compa kind of is like the best of both worlds for me because I love Spanish music. So it has like that
Mhm.
Spanish vibe, and then you got that Caribbean soca. You kind of, you know, chipped it, and there's just so many instruments in every song. You like you
It's so musical.
or the guitar, you know. So I can understand when you say compa. But what it's compa and what's the other one?
I mean, like I said, soca's my favorite, but then like the last 2 days has been compa just because it was Haitian Flag Day yesterday. So I give them the vibe. I mean, but literally it's a karaoke movie in my bathroom every day. Like I really look at myself like I'm the best karaoke, participant, singer, whatever, ever. Like, anybody ever come to New York, come with me, and my friends. We really do it. Like we really have a good time.
Go outside. I'm coming to New York and we're going karaoke. Because I think I can sing. I really can't. Like my girlfriends around here, you know, they're gonna be like, Kerra, like you can't sing. But I sing. Like I sing out loud, and you would swear that I can sing because I'm so like, you know, into it, and I give my all. And half the times I don't know any of the words, which makes it even better.
Uh,
Different track all the
you
time.
gotta know the words.
I mix every song.
The words are on the screen. They're on the screen.
Listen, even karaoke or non-karaoke, I'm remixing it and singing what I want. But I'm definitely holding because look, some of the girls in here are actually in New York. So when we go outside, I'll do that.
Listen,
I
My
know.
boy, my boy Jared's still in here. Karaoke's a movie. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. We're gonna keep the drinks flowing. We're gonna meet new people while we there. I really have the best time.
I'm down. I'm 100% down. Now, you say you love soca, so let's put you to the test. Who is your favorite
Nope.
soca
I
artist?
don't want no test.
I want to know who is your favorite male soca artist, and I want to know who is your favorite female soca artist, and I want to hear what's your favorite soca song.
I don't have a favorite female one, but my favorite soca song is Fast Wine. Anybody that knows me, and
Okay,
it's my shell.
piano. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's so
Can
yeah,
you
so
whine?
I'm
'Cause, I mean, if you're going to be listening to Fast Wine and singing to Fast Wine, can you whine?
that's like asking me if I need water.
Oh, so you
Like,
confident. Okay.
listen, I like to stay prepared. I don't like to go anywhere that I'm not ready to do what I need to do there. I don't like. Here's the thing. All my friends are either Haitian, Jamaican, or Trinidadian. Every single one of them. So I had to fix up. Like in order to really get to where I needed to go to hang with them, I needed to be right.
Yeah, no, because you can't be that like out of time and dude that's doing some like trap dance in the background and people are whining in effects. That's not a good look.
Yeah, no, you gotta, and even everyone that knows me, like they know I'm the one at the party. Even when we be in the club with Nick and all that, I'm the one that leaves the section, and before you know it, I'm picking girls up. I got it. I'm all over the like. It's bad, But I had to chill out. I had to stop. You know what I mean?
Action, because behavior was not that bad in Curacao. So I'm gonna need like a redo. Like when we come to New York or we in LA or something, we go into a soca party because even the girls are saying like we got to see this to believe this. Maybe do a story about this, but make it like a present story. Like this is what I would do when I go to. So when Kerra calls me and says we going to carnival, this is how it's gonna go.
Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the girls are laughing their heads off right now.
I really can't wait. I love having a good time. And the best part about it is everyone who wants me to do better, I can't wait for them to teach me.
Someone said, yeah, because twerking ain't whining. That's a fact. Ladies, come on, drop some questions in here for him. I'm gonna continue. I think I have like just a couple more questions for you, but I see one in there. So if you have any questions, remember my Caribbean girls. This is an American, so he's not Caribbean. So feel free to ask him whatever, because he's gonna answer. So yeah, so you were working at Red Lobster. So would you say that you're like, can you cook? Because I mean, working at Red Lobster is one thing, but like actually knowing how to cook is another thing. So can you cook?
Yeah, I've been cooking my whole life.
So one of these Caribbean girls could put you in house, is what you're saying? Like they could put you in house and you be all right?
Yeah, like first of all, I've been alone for the last 2 months, and
anything because you can buy food. You can go buy your dollar chicken, McDonald's, and all these other places.
No, number one, I think most people would be shocked at how complete of a human I am. But yes, I've been my father growing up did most of the cooking. So I followed in his footsteps. I took culinary classes at school, you know what I mean? So I get bit, my only question is really like when people be like, yo, I'm hungry, it's like what you want to eat. Like I can go and make you whatever you want.
So is there something that you specialize in specifically, or what's your favorite thing to make? Can you make Caribbean food as well?
No.
Wow, Jordan. Really? You don't point me right now?
First of all, even if I could, I'm not telling none of y'all yes. Y'all not about to be violating me and telling me that I don't got the real spices because my grandma didn't bring it back with her. Like, y'all not about to violate me. You know what I mean? But no, I don't really, I haven't really cooked any Caribbean food. Again, I'm not Caribbean, so
so I'm gonna make you okay. So when we do the karaoke night, we'll do like a dinner and then karaoke. So the girls will come over. We'll teach you how to make like a curry chicken or a jerk chicken or something. So you can't be around Caribbean people and not know how to make something Caribbean.
Well, that means we need 2 nights because that means if you're gonna teach me something of yours, then I have to teach you something of mine.
Deal. Okay, it's a week. All right, so it's a weekend pump.
All right, there we go.
A soca party. We are gonna cook, and Christina, I cannot teach him. I don't want to teach nobody how to cook. And then we're gonna do karaoke night. All right, we have so Jordan's team. I see a bunch of your boys in here. We got this. All my girls are in here. We're making a
Listen,
live.
this is
Film it. We're going to film it, and it's gonna be a bedtime story at some point.
only thing I suggest is rest beforehand.
You know you're talking to a Trini and other Caribbean women, right? Like
I know, but
what,
listen.
What name rest?
Listen, I'm just saying, listen. Listen, I'm only giving my advice. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Make sure the chicken is not being seasoned in the sink.
Well, number one, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not gonna be cooking any meat for you guys.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna
Yeah.
have veggies for you. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say you gotta allow me to teach y'all what this life is like. You can teach me what yours is, you know what I mean? It's an equal trade.
I'm with it. Now, okay, so this question is really, this should be an interesting answer. So describe the color yellow. It's not that funny. I'm just thinking about what you're possibly gonna say to this. See, Nakia said, "Sleep when you're dead." Like we don't sleep. We got this. Okay, we party for like 3 weeks straight, 5 parties a day. We got this.
I like this energy.
We can do curry tofu. That's the thing. Describe the color yellow to somebody who is blind.
First of all, if that was a real question, the first thing I would say is why.
So someone is blind and you have to describe the color yellow. And those of you watching, drop some comments as well. How you guys would describe the color yellow to a blind person.
Describe the color yellow.
Describe the color yellow to a blind person.
Why? Listen, man, you see.
So Nikia, look, somebody started. Nikia said warm.
A piercing bright. See, y'all better at this. Y'all got this. See, here's the problem. I was ready for everything else up before this. This portion of the interview requires alcohol. So because I'm not ready for that, I don't know to describe. You don't know what any other colors look like. So I don't know. I'd be curious if people be like, yo, why do I care what yellow looks like and I can't even see my dad?
Oh gosh. Somebody said, the 3 million colors, you can't see the bright one. Oh,
there we go. There it is right there, my brother. Look at that. The color yellow has stood for wisdom and intellect throughout the ages. There you go.
Oh gosh. Oh,
that's it. I'm tagging him in.
Big Bro came in the cut. Let me see what these questions are.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh. Somebody said, do you still play those instruments? So the piano and it was the saxophone.
Yeah. I just posted a video of me playing the piano a week ago. I was playing a gospel song for Sunday to encourage everybody. So yeah, I still engage when I have the time or when I need to feel that form of freedom. But it'll be very rare for you to see me play the saxophone, but the piano, I'll still hop on that here and there.
So you know what I want to learn? So when I didn't learn to play the piano. I learned to play something on the piano. You know the Olympics? I can't get past like the second part of it. Like I have it down packed, that, and then it just goes downhill. So I just need you to just tell me what the other keys are so I can feel accomplished, because since I was like 10, I just knew the beginning part and I was great at the beginning part, but just need to maybe get a few more, what's the word I'm looking for? Chords. So it kind of sounds like it's actually something.
But why the Olympic song? Why that one?
I'm not 100%. I don't even remember who taught me that, to be honest, but I love it. Like I actually really, really love it. It gives me a feeling. Okay. It gives me a really dope feeling. Someone just asked, because I guess they weren't in here when we first came on, did film choose you or did you choose film?
I would love to believe that anything that is purposeful in your life chooses you. Now, you can choose to deny it, but I would love to believe that the arts chose me, and now by choosing it back, I'm respecting that type of purpose. But I do want to be clear on one thing. The arts doesn't need me. Just because I believe that this is my purpose, I don't. If I decided to stop making films today, people are gonna go to the movies for the rest of their life.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But being a filmmaker and a storyteller, it gives me the biggest satisfaction because all I've ever wanted in my life was to feel free. And that's what this allows me to be able to do.
Look at you preaching. You know, you're an old soul. Realizing that more and more. You're definitely an old soul. Nikia just asked, are you religious or spiritual?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It is. I definitely consider myself to be more spiritual than I am religious, but I do believe that there is a higher power who I look up to.
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't know the difference really. There's different social definitions for religion, and so I don't really know how to answer that.
Okay, that's fair. I think one of your friends just asked a question. He said, earlier he mentioned he had influential friends in his life. Could he explain why Jared and Cliff have been so influential to him? I don't know. I don't think that, I'm not sure who asked that. I'll tell you who asked it actually. Oh yeah, Prescott asked it.
That's hilarious. I mean, we like soldiers, we're like brothers. Jared is also a filmmaker. Cliff is a photographer. So being able to work with them, doing anything alone leaves you very empty. So when you can go out into war with your brothers and fight together, iron sharpens iron, it always makes you better. So I'm more impactful of a man and an artist today because of the company I keep.
Amen. Your brother said that you're more religious.
There we go.
And Nakia said, okay, so organized religion, they're having their own little conversation.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I believe in God as my Lord and Savior. That answers.
And then someone said, what's your favorite part of the filmmaking process?
Ooh, probably.
Wait, so what's your favorite part? And then like, what's the worst part of it? Like that you're just like, oh my gosh, why?
The middle is the worst. Because that means most times that means you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But beginning is the absolute best part because everything seems so fresh and realistic. All the ideas are on the table, especially if you're like in a writer's room or you're just creatively building with your friends. Everything feels so possible. You know what I'm saying? You're a child all over again. So it's the beginning.
So your boy said, I'm not religious, I'm yellow. I can't.
You know what? He's right. He is yellow. He's so yellow that even if we're praying at the table, I ask him not to hold my hand.
All right, so let's take one more question from our audience. This has been a great interview. And I had a really rough day yesterday. I had a good conversation. Like it was a really, really rough, crappy day. And this conversation is a reminder to me again why it's so important to surround yourself with people with good energy. Because I actually feel like yesterday my shoulders were really tense. I was going through a lot. And, right now I feel like a weight has been lifted. I've actually learned a lot of new things. And then the chemistry is just great. Like it's so organic and and this is why they always say like surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with people that are positive, people that will uplift you because it really does help. They're laughing over there. Y'all legit gave me a headache.
I think they're having just as much fun in the comments as we're having. Like,
all right, ladies. So
the good news is all the fellas y'all talking to, they be in New York.
Okay. All right. Well, fellas, make sure you follow all the girls that you're talking to. Girls, follow the boys because obviously, this whole team right here is a good vibe. It's obvious. So make sure y'all follow each other, support the businesses, support what everybody's doing. My Instagram handle, shameless plug. Make sure you follow me. Every Tuesday I do an interview. And I try to support however I can. So follow me, follow Jordan as well. So I have one more question before the road. But ladies, I'm opening it up to one or two plugging his boys. He said we got love bills. What's a love bill? I don't even want to know.
What, love bill? Not, well, I mean, everything is worth paying for. So you have
Ah,
to pay through your time, you have to pay through your energy. So that's why he says we got love bills, worth paying for it.
okay. This guy said, "Is there a sign up sheet? Call got the sheet. Just call him. We'll forward."
Ah,
Oh gosh. So most people would, a lot of people would say, you know, if you could leave a message to who's trying to get food after, I'm trying to get food after. I'm hungry. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
no, that's a fact.
Oh, can't wait till we can go outside. But yeah, so most people always ask, what advice would you give to your younger self? What I want to know, because you're an old soul, what advice would you give to your older self? So what advice would you give, or what message would you say to your 60-year-old self?
Learn how to relax. That's the one thing that I haven't been that great at. Like, even, I mean, it's as simple as, even when we'll go out, we'll have a good time. You'll notice my entire work is in the car. Right in my trunk will be my computer, just in case I need to do something.
Mhm.
I need to know how to do that more, to just relax, and you know that part of it. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be it.
And do you think that you have like a message, a life message? Okay, what would be your life message? Or if there's a message that you want to leave to the people that are listening right now, the persons that are watching this interview after, what's a message that you would leave with everyone? Like if there is something that you could say that, you know, people, you would want to resonate with someone, what would that message be?
Most of the hardest battles in your life, you've already won them. So when things come to you, and they come to your doorstep, and they challenge you, and they become your new obstacles, all you need to do is be the old version of yourself. Before you knew that things weren't possible, all you did was win.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I mean, in very different cases, where some people, unfortunately, they can't do certain things that a lot of us can do. But when you wanted to learn how to speak, when you wanted to form that word, you figured it out. When you needed to walk, you figured it out, and now y'all nice with that. It's just, you're already a winner, and you're already better than you could have ever imagined. Just do it again.
Right.
Now that today's obstacle might feel this big, okay, that's cool. But just be yourself all over again, and you will really surprise yourself on what you could be, what you could see, where you're going. I mean, just change your whole life by just actually being yourself. Take the costume off. Stop trying to be who you want to be, and just be who you actually are.
Preach, because that's the problem in today's society is everyone has a mask on because everybody feels like they should act a certain way because society has conditioned them to feel like they have to be that way, you know, to fit in or whatever the case is. And it's very important for people to understand that more and more. And I think that with this pandemic, now that a lot of people aren't able to do certain things, whether it be, you know, females going out, you know, and doing the whole, you know, makeup thing every second, or not embracing their natural hair, or not just embracing their natural beauty, you know, and men,
Right.
everyone's equal now, you know, whether you had money or you didn't have money, like we're all stripped. So all the nice cars and all that stuff, we're all at home with no income, with no, you know what I mean, going through the struggles the same way. So I definitely believe Kim said he needs to be on your panel. I agree. So I'm definitely gonna talk to you about that. And even like Jordan's boys who are in here, you guys think, because I just want to kind of take a poll, like if you guys think that that's something that you'd be interested in, like a male empowerment event. You know, it's obviously going to be a little bit different to the female, but like a male empowerment event where we have a panel of men, like just strong Black men that are doing amazing things, that can share light for the other brothers that need that support.
Yeah.
Drop a message or even send me a DM and let me know if that's something, because depending on what the feedback is, you know, I would be interested in doing it next month, especially around Father's Day. But yeah, like you rightfully said, you know, be yourself. It's very, 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 it's a very important message. And as simple as it is to say it, it doesn't necessarily, it's not that easy to be sometimes because of, you know, things that you may have gone through in your life, or just mental blocks and all of that stuff, right?
Hmm.
Sorry, I see a question in here. Somebody said, your boy said, how do we feel about Golden Crust? Golden Crust has the worst patties. I just want to put that. Like patties. Oh gosh. How y'all feel about Golden Crust? I don't know. I don't like the patties for real, for real. I think it's dope and more. Okay, so we got one of your boys, two of your boys. Okay. What up?
Yo, but that's how I felt when you said, could I cook Caribbean food? Like, I'm not.
You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, and you are a testimony of that.
That's true.
Someone said I like the lights in your crib. For real.
Oh, what up, Star?
Their lunch special hit. I've never had their lunch special. I've had their patties and they are absolutely terrible. So we can leave with this. What is the definition? I feel like you would have a really good answer for this. So what is your definition of love? What does love look like to you?
Ooh. Well, first of all, it looks like absolutely nothing because, you know, what it looks like to me, it doesn't look the same to anyone else. So, I'd hate to actually make it look like something when I know that everyone else would see it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, love would have to be closest to the number one thing I've ever wanted in my life. And this is different for everyone.
Right.
But like I said early, it's just freedom. You know, that moment that I feel like everything is all right, I feel safe, I feel compassionate, I feel just, uh, you know, it's like it's so crazy that I know love is real because it's so difficult for me to even explain. You know, but it would be that freedom. That's all I really want. So even if you're talking to a woman or, you know, for the ladies talking to a man, if you feel free with that person, then there's something about that. Maybe it's not love, but it's at least real enough for it to be this. And then as a dream chaser, no matter what, even if all obstacles have beat you down, but for some reason just creating again or building again or getting to that next step again will make you feel whole. And that's all love I ever needed.
What's your love language? Are you like super affectionate? Like, is that how you show love? Or do you show it by other means of actions? What's your love language?
I love gifts, like giving gifts. Obviously I love to cook. So I guess I mean, I don't know the love languages, but I guess I would.
I personally have never actually even researched it, but just in recent conversations, my girlfriend and I have been talking, and she was like, because I'm noticing that for me, I'm extroverted, but I'm a very like touchy-feely person. So like I like to hug my friends. I like them to, you know, like put their hands on my shoulder or whatever. But that's kind of how I express my love by, you know, these physical interactions. And then they will show their love in different means where, you know, they might just, you know, call me and say a couple of words, or they might drop food for me, or, you know, like other ways that it's not necessarily a physical aspect, but physical touch is definitely my love language for sure.
Yeah, it probably for me probably be acts of service. I see Jared. Jared's over here ready, you know what I mean?
Other people said physical touch. Someone said gift giving, quality time. Yeah, see, so everyone has a different, and it's interesting, you know, when you think about the different ways that people actually show love, it's crazy how diverse that is because it's so far stretched as well. Quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch. I'm loving this, guys. Are these, yeah, some of these are girls and some of these are guys. Okay, emotional connections. So, all right, I'm gonna ask you this only because we have a bunch of ladies in here. So, what is like your perfect relationship or your perfect date, your perfect relationship? Like who's taking Jordan off the table? Like what kind of girl is taking him off of the market?
If I had the, well, I mean, you just asked like 4 questions. Perfect date would be, I'll answer that one first. Perfect date would be a combination of some ridiculously bougie stuff and then some very ratchet hood stuff. You know, because I'm very much both things. So you know, even if we started at a jazz club and ended up in one of them hole in the wall spots in Brooklyn and we just doing nothing but drinking and dancing for the rest of the night, that's my vibe. I'm in my bag if we doing that, you know. But I've always, you know, in terms of looking at, you know, how my boy just says, yeah, like even in New York, if you're not at cafeteria eating at 6 a.m., after your night of just fun, then you really ain't, you know what I mean? I don't know what your night talking about. But in terms of just a woman for me, you have to know yourself. You have to really feel, powerful in who you are. And then you gotta have that other little part of you that's willing to just take on the world. Like, and because that's what I'm attacking every day. So I would love to be able to look at, my wife one day and be like, oh man, she's just attacking the mess out of, her dreams and things like that. And let me hop in and help her real quick. And
Mm-hmm.
then my favorite part is if someone knocks me out or life knocks me down, it'd be my wife to pick me up and hold me up and tell and just remind me
Yeah.
of who I am. Because we all forget. There's nothing wrong with forgetting. But if my wife could remind me who I am and I felt safe for that, that would be everything for me.
Okay. All right, ladies, you got a little insight there. In case anybody wanted to know. But no, Jordan, this was a great conversation. It's been a long time, and I'm glad that we were actually able to take it to the online space. I think we covered a range of different things, and definitely a lot of inspiration for sure, which is really what this platform is about. I try to interview persons that a lot of people don't know that are really doing great things, or even people that they do know, but they just can't, they can't reach.
Mm-hmm.
So that their stories can inspire other people to be great, because we all go through struggles. We all have our ups and downs, and it's how we face those and how do we keep moving. And we got to start supporting our community a little more, my girls, thank you girls for contributing to this conversation. Awesome. And Jordan's boys, definitely going to do a link up when we come to New York. I'm putting that out there from now. And Jordan, no, I don't play.
You
So
really don't.
it's definitely going to happen. Someone said, who's his celebrity crush? You can answer that if you want.
Megan Good. That's easy.
Yeah, she pretty.
For my entire life. Like I've been in love with her forever.
Have you ever met her?
Yeah, one time, and I told her how I felt.
Oh.
She had to know.
Oh gosh, well, I'm proud of you. You're always going after your dreams. So that's what it is. No fear.
Oh nah, that's a waste of time. What? Imagine being in love with someone you never told them. That's crazy.
Somebody's take this to Zoom. That's not a bad idea. I'm gonna hit you during the weekend. If anything, next week we jump on a Zoom, have a drink, and talk some crap.
There we go.
But yeah, thank you everyone for logging in. Make sure you guys go follow Jordan. Tell them your Instagram.
I am JD Crafton.
So not JD Crafton, because that's the big bro.
That's my big bro, yeah.
Well, you guys can follow Big Bro too. He's good vibes too. But make sure you guys follow Jordan. Check out his bedtime story. If you need a pick me up, definitely watch his bedtime stories. But just go through his page. A lot of great content on there. And check out my page. I do a lot of different stuff. Women's empowerment events, kids events, as well as I work.
Fly pictures.
Here and there. But yeah, make sure you guys check out my page. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I can't wait to, see what happens after this. But Jordan, keep doing your thing. I'm super proud of you, bro. Glad that we connected in Curacao, but super, super proud. And just, keep rising and keep shining. And we will talk more soon.
Oh, man, I love you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.